Hey, welcome. Today we're going to jump right into a framework that tackles one of the biggest challenges we all face in modern life. It's called total leadership, and it's a game plan for becoming a better, more effective leader while actually creating a richer, more meaningful life.
So, let's get real for a second. Does this sound familiar to you? You've got work pulling you one way, your family pulling you another, your community needs your time, and somewhere in all that chaos, you're desperately trying to find just a moment for yourself. It's this constant, totally exhausting juggling act, right?
And you know, if you often feel unfulfilled, completely overwhelmed, or maybe just stuck, you are definitely not alone. The thing is, most of us are taught to believe that to really kill it at work, we have to make sacrifices in our personal lives, or the other way around. And that brings us to the root of the problem. It actually has a name, the zero-sum game. It's this incredibly common belief that our time and energy are these finite resources. So, a win at the office has to mean a loss at home. But here's the big question. What if that whole idea is just wrong? Okay, so that question, it opens the door to a completely different way of looking at things. Instead of thinking about trade-offs, let's explore this incredible idea of a four-way win. This whole concept comes from a professor at the Wharton School, Stewart D. Friedman, and his argument is basically that instead of making these painful trade-offs, we can find ways for these different parts of our lives to actually help each other, to create mutual value. So, what is a four-way win, really? Well, it's any change, it could be big, it could be tiny, that creates a positive ripple effect. It improves not just your satisfaction, but your performance across all four parts of your life, all at the same time. See, it's not about balancing, like a scale. It's about integrating them all together. And to do that, we need to think about our lives in these four key areas. First, there's work. That's your career, your job. Then, home. That's your family, your friends, your personal space. You've got community, your neighborhood, your social circles. And last, but definitely not least, is self. That's your mind, your body, and your spirit. Now, this whole thing is built on three really powerful but simple principles. First up, be real. That means acting with authenticity, really getting clear on what actually matters to you. Next, be whole. This is about acting with integrity and respecting that all parts of your life are important. And finally, be innovative. That means acting with creativity, trying out new ways to get things done. All right, principles are great and all, but how does this actually work in the real world, right? Well, the answer is surprisingly simple, and it's all about the power of small experiments. And here's the secret sauce. You don't have to blow up your whole life overnight. The process works because you design these small, low-risk experiments. They're just short-term changes that you're in control of, and you do them just to see what kind of a positive impact they have. Let me give you a perfect real-world example. There was a manager named Kenneth Chen, and he had some pretty big goals. He wanted to eventually become a CEO, he wanted to connect more with his family, and he wanted to get involved in his new city. His experiment wasn't some huge life change. It was simple. He joined a community board. And just look at the ripple effect. That one small decision created a huge four-way win. For his work, he was developing the exact leadership skills he needed for that CEO track. At home, it actually strengthened his bond with his fiancée and sister. For his community, he was giving back to his new city. And for himself, he felt more confident, more spiritually alive. You see how it all connects? And these experiments can be super simple things you could probably start tomorrow. Like time shifting, maybe working from home one day a week. Or rejuvenating, exercising a few mornings a week. It could even be focusing, like just turning off all your devices during family dinner. The key is that they're small, targeted changes. Okay, I know what you might be thinking. This sounds nice, maybe a little feel-good, but does it actually work? Does it deliver real results? Well, let's take a look at the data, because it's pretty surprising. So they actually did a study on this. They followed over 300 professionals who put this method to the test, and they measured the changes in both their life satisfaction and their actual performance over just 4 months. The results were pretty remarkable. And the results, wow. Just get this, a 39% increase in personal satisfaction in the self domain. That is a huge boost in well-being in just a few short months. And this is where you really see that ripple effect in action. It wasn't just about the self. People also reported being 20% more satisfied at work, 28% more satisfied at home, and a whopping 31% more satisfied in their community life. Every single area saw a major improvement.
But here's the really crucial part. It wasn't just about feeling better. It was about performing better. Performance went up 9% at work, 15% at home, and 12% in the community. This is proof that integrating your life actually makes you more effective everywhere you go.
And this is probably the most mind-blowing takeaway from the whole study. All of these incredible gains in both satisfaction and performance, they happened even as people spent less time on work and more time on the other parts of their lives. It's the definition of working smarter, not harder.
So, you're probably wondering, okay, I'm sold. How can I actually start doing this myself? Well, it's a lot simpler than you might think. Let's walk through the 4-step action plan.
It's actually a pretty straightforward 4-step process. First, you reflect. Get really clear on what and who matters most to you across all 4 domains. Second, you brainstorm. Just generate a huge list of possible small experiments. No bad ideas. Third, you choose. Pick just 1 to 3 of the most promising ones to try out. And fourth, you measure. Track your progress and see what's actually working for you. And as you're picking your experiment, here's a great tip. The best ones are what you'd call a moderate stretch. They shouldn't be so easy that they're meaningless, but not so scary that you never even start. You're looking for those small wins that build momentum.
And please, remember this. It's so important. The only way you can actually fail with one of these experiments is if you fail to learn something from it. If an experiment doesn't work out, that's not failure, that's just data. It tells you what to try next. When you think like that, the fear of trying something new just melts away.
So, that brings us to a final question, just for you. What's one small win, one small experiment that you could design this week to start creating value in all 4 parts of your life? Just think about it. One small change could be the start of something really big.